Picture a tomato plant stretching 7 feet tall, weighed down by fruit so abundant it shatters today's agronomy benchmarks. No blue crystal fertilizers in the dirt, no pesticide traces on the foliage, just one coiled copper wire driven into the ground. This isn't some dream. It's a proven historical fact delivering 300% crop boosts, a breakthrough that could have transformed global agriculture, yet it faded into obscurity. You've been conditioned to treat your garden like a lab experiment, a lifeless blotter reliant on endless synthetic feeds from corporate giants. But that view overlooks nature's core driver, electricity. The air overhead buzzes with electric potential, an endless power source, while the soil below serves as the negative terminal. For ages, plants have tapped this divide, flourishing via unseen telluric flows. We didn't merely lose this knowledge, we swapped it for a profit-driven routine. Plugging in that copper antenna doesn't just mean planting, it's reconnecting a broken electrical loop shattered by industrial myths. What silenced the 1920 studies on ionization and magnetic resonance? Why do plans for these sky-harnessing antennas never appear in textbooks? I'm unlocking the records. I'll guide you in using Earth's physics to make chemical fertilizers redundant. This isn't sorcery, it's pure hidden conductivity. The real question: do you dare break free from industry chains and reconnect your dirt to cosmic energy? To grasp why this tech was shelved, let's turn back to 1920s France, when physics and farming collided, thanks to Justin, a no-nonsense engineer who saw plants as natural wires. In 1925, he secured patent 590067, a filing meant to redefine agriculture, now just a forgotten archive relic. Christoph went beyond ideas. His electromagnetic terrestrial setup, crafted from copper and zinc, pulled aerial electricity straight into the earth. The outcomes weren't minor. They were jaw-dropping outliers, challenging conventional biology. Documents confirm 5-foot oats, blight-free potatoes sans any copper sulfate, and vineyards yielding juice so rich it threatened old guard vintners. So why isn't this tool in your shed? Not because the science flopped, but because another sector thrived. Post-World War I, explosive nitrate plants scrambled for purpose and targeted farmland. Chemical empires saw endless sales of nitrogen bags as gold compared to a one-time copper stake. Once the story flipped, crystal electrophysiology got branded quackery, buried under NPK hype. Paper electricity wasn't disproven. It was profit-killed. We ditched boundless free aerial vibes for chemical subscriptions, wiping out the truth that soil powers crops by design. Forget the woo-woo. This is straight geophysics, skipped in your bio books. Grasp the copper wire's might by facing facts. You're in a colossal battery. Earth holds negative charge. The ionosphere above is positive. Your garden sits in the dielectric gap of this vast capacitor, packed with voltage. Data's clear. Potential climbs roughly 100 volts per meter upward. A 2-meter corn stalk thus faces 200 volts more at its top than roots. Naturally, plants serve as faint antennas, spanning this to fuel growth. But today's soil, clogged with salt crusts and compacted, blocks the current. Enter the copper wire. In this spiral form, it's an elite conductor for sky power. Hammering it in isn't mere flair. It's a lifeline conduit for vital force. You're forging a low-resistance conduit for atmospheric electricity to plunge into the rhizosphere, all while harnessing the telluric currents flowing beneath the earth. You're flipping the switch on a natural circuit that industrial farming shut down over a century back. You've been fed the falsehood that your dirt is lifeless and depleted, demanding endless chemical boosts to support any growth. Reality check. Your soil is probably overloaded with riches, trapped in intricate molecular chains that roots can't access. Driving in that copper spiral doesn't add plant food. It's converting your soil's water into a mild electrolytic solution. Basic, high school chem, tackling a farming emergency. The sky-sourced current races down the antenna, strikes the water table, and sparks electrolysis, instantly fracturing those stubborn bonds. Previously, inert phosphorus and potassium get ionized, reduced to simple charged forms ready for uptake. Plants don't chew minerals, they sip ions. Electrifying the rhizosphere basically pre-processes those elements for your crops, rendering them fully absorbable, sans the harsh salts of man-made fertilizers. The effect digs even further. This electric nudge echoes a storm's energy pulse, famed for supercharging vegetation. Tiny currents speed up nitrogen fixation, snatching the air's 78% nitrogen payload and fixing it to soil grains. You're unleashing a steady mini thunderbolt right in your plot. As neighbors shell out for bags of synthetic granules to cram feed their yields, your antenna taps physics to reveal the feast buried underfoot all along. Picture your plant's sap, not merely as liquid, but as vital lifeblood, ferrying essentials to every branch and blade. In typical chemically dosed plots, this stream crawls, battling gravity and weak osmosis. Introduce the copper coil, though, and you activate electroosmosis. Boosting the voltage gradient between ground and sky cranks up the plant's inner pump. Sap doesn't trickle, it rushes. This turbocharged delivery floods nutrients at speeds orthodox botany calls unfeasible, accounting for electroculture's dramatic growth spurts. Yet the game-changer chemical firms dread strikes at the cell level. This gentle field amps mineral processing, yielding thicker cell walls you can quantify. Beyond mere rigidity, it's built-in defense. A plant, boasting fortified electric-charged barriers, resists insect breaches on a physical level. Plus, bugs are wired by evolution to target frail, low-energy plants. A buzzing with vigor electrified specimen emits a healthy vibe that cloaks it or repels invaders like aphids and beetles outright. You're not merely bulking up harvests, you're breeding resilient ones that defend themselves, wiping out the need for poison shelves entirely. While Western farming clings to its oil-derived IV, Asia has stealthily scaled up the unseen force. Forget hobbyist pots in a shed. This is state-backed triumph of the principles outlined. Front-page worthy. China rolled out electroculture across 3,600 hectares of greenhouses, roughly 9,000 acres of charged earth humming today. No sideshow trial. It's a bold strike at the fertilizer cartel. The Chinese Academy of Agricultural Sciences didn't dabble. They validated it massively. Results stun. Veggie. Output. Leap 20% to 30%, piling on huge extra harvests with zero added chemicals. The figure that should rattle industry titans. Pesticide cuts of 70% to 100% in those powered fields. Undeniable proof the 1920s inventions weren't quackery. They charted a chemical-free future, one superpower's erecting, while the rest buys needless toxins in shadows. Theory's done. Gear up. No engineering. PhD required. Hit the hardware shop and stick to precise conductivity specs. The core of this setup is the antenna, supported by a plain wooden dowel or bamboo stake. Avoid metal for the rod at all costs. It would discharge the energy too soon, disrupting the voltage gradient we're aiming to capture. Wood serves as an insulator, directing the atmospheric charge solely along the copper route we'll construct. Target a minimum height of 6 feet. Higher elevation, boosts the potential difference available to your plants with every additional inch. For the copper, this is where many contemporary builders stumble right away. Opt for pure, uninsulated copper wire, no enamel, plastic, or varnish allowed. Insulated wire can't engage with airborne ions and loses its biological potency. Select 10 to 14 gauge solid copper wire, too thin, and it's fragile for the required shape. Too thick and it's wasteful overkill. You're crafting a receiver, not a transmission cable. Form a conductive spiral atop the wooden stake, fully exposed to the weather, to funnel atmospheric pulses into the ground. This basic, affordable hardware packs a punch against conventional farming. The key is exactness. Distinguishing a lightning attractor from a pointless rod. Randomly coiling wire around a pole won't cut it. Replicate nature's patterns instead. Spirals based on the Fibonacci sequence and golden ratio, seen in pine cones to galaxies. Begin at the stake's base, twisting the copper upward, clockwise like a vine climbing toward sunlight. Crucial, tighter turns low down, loosening progressively higher. This forms an induction coil to snag atmospheric scalar waves, not just for looks. After coiling, align it cardinally. Find magnetic north, not true north, the planet's magnetic thrum. On your plant's south side, excavate a 6 to 8 inch hole. This depth is essential, positioning the copper end in the rhizosphere, the root zone's ion exchange hub. Bury it with the spiral-oriented north, serving as a passive catcher for Earth's magnetic currents. You're not merely staking, you're calibrating a device. Misalign it, and reception falters. Nail the geometry, and you generate a persistent energy vortex pulsing through the soil. Next, shift from basic conduction to resonance, Lakovsky's territory. While Christoph emphasized current flow, Lakovsky recognized cells as tiny, oscillating circuits. His innovation, the open-ring oscillator, is deceptively straightforward, mocking biotech's elaborateness. Form an open copper loop with an intentional gap acting as a capacitor, tuned to cosmic background radiation, not a full circuit. Position this around a plant's base, and you're building a radio, tuned to life's frequencies, not just passing energy. The science runs deep. Ailing plants often have disrupted cellular vibrations with frequencies too low. The Lakovsky coil functions like a tuning fork, grabbing cosmic waves and relaying a core harmonic directly into the plant. Effects on terminal tree diseases and failing shoots go beyond revival. They're rebirths. Loop a precisely sized copper ring, ends nearly meeting but gapped around a faltering crop, and it restores the cell's innate healthy rhythm. It nullifies stress-induced noise, immersing the plant in pure growth signals. Planting these copper antennas launches more than a garden. It detoxes land hooked on chemical boosts. Don't anticipate overnight miracles if soil's loaded with years of NPK. Like detoxing a body, soil undergoes withdrawal. Synthetic salts impair natural conductivity, forming resistance that atmospheric flows must overcome. Early weeks might show stagnation or mild yellowing as plants switch from forced chemical feeds to self-sustaining electrical draw. The move from reliance to independence. You'll notice the expulsion of leftover salts as heightened electrical charge drives these contaminants further into the subsoil, sparing the delicate roots. Watch the earthworms. They're the initial responders to the changing turmeric voltage, drawn to the copper stakes in the most lively, aerated earth. This marks the revival of the soil's natural defenses. Come the second month, vibrant indicators emerge. Leaves gleaming with a deep waxy sheen and stems standing firm and robust. signaling the end of chemical dependency. You've graduated from buying bagged life to serving as an operator on the planet's energy network, enabling a balanced, self-powered harmony. The inquiry wraps not in tidy conclusions, but in a bold challenge. You hold a schematic that sidesteps a trillion-dollar empire. Just a basic copper coil nullifies the worldwide supply chains for artificial nitrates and nerve-damaging pesticides. It's the pinnacle of suppressed tech since it defies metering, patenting, or repackaging in consumer bottles. Evidence from the 1920s alongside today's 3,600-hectare trials in the East confirms the planet as an inherent, energy-rich mechanism, meant to nourish freely. Mainstream agribusiness hush isn't from absent proof. It's a fortress guarding their pay-per-use world. You're at the fork of organic independence. One route clings to chemical industry crutches, hiking expenses, stripping soils, and spreading poisons system-wide. The alternative? The independent grower's way, grasping the tripling yields by 300% stems from natural laws, not invoices. Driving that copper into the dirt is subtle defiance. You're opting for the cosmos's hidden frequencies against corporate chains you can see. The power hums below your souls and surges overhead. The loop awaits. Only your touch completes it. Stay their toxin buyer, or step up as channel for the ground's innate thunder.